All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is, let's see, what day is it, Laura? It's Friday, yes, thank you. It's Friday, November 16th of 2018, and this is the TRC sales training call. I'm excited to go because I see all sorts of people in here early and often. I've got Paul Cantu in my hot seat today. He is one of our founding mastermind members and one of our best on the phone, but we are learning together that it is time to change up what's being said and how we deal with leads. And as he's going through his database, he's cleaning them up. I know I also have my team up in Ottawa. We just did a little private consultation on the managing side of the business, and then we'll get into the technical side. I know that Chris Kleber has Austin on the phone who wants to hear some of this role play stuff today. So we have all sorts of people that are ready to rock and roll with me. So I'm excited to do this. Remember, when I go and open up these microphones, it is greatly appreciated that you remember that I like live open microphones. I don't like to shut people off. So please monitor your own microphone, and let's make sure that you don't have noise in the background. If you're on speaker and you're with your team or whatever, that's cool. Just turn it all down so they don't get that reverberation, that echo, okay? So here we go. Mic check. Check, check. Paulie Cantu. You there, bud?
I am. Could you give me 5 minutes
to
get home from the grocery real quick?
Come on, you told me I'll be there from the beginning. You didn't tell me you'd be mobile. Yeah, of course I can. So that will bring me over to Sarah. Do we have the crew sitting there ready to rock and roll? I see some Ottawa lines lighting me up here, so I'm assuming the answer is yes. Sarah?
I'm here, Danny.
Oh, good.
I don't know if Sarah's on the line.
Yeah, who's that?
One of the rooms listening. Yeah, we're all here. This is Dave, Eric.
Okay, Dave, Eric, and Pat. All right, boys. So listen, we had a good talk earlier today. So now let's shift over to the technical side of it. When I ask it now technically, remember, I'm shifting management brain to sales guy and sales consultant. Tell me what some of the challenges are once you got off with me. And by the way, to give everybody context, what I said to these guys was they're really, really good at going after appointments up there in Ottawa, and they get them. But I think sometimes, and I forget which one of it was you boys, Patrick, Eric, or Dave, you'll have to refresh me, who said, I think I chased somebody away the other day. Who said that? Which one was that?
That was me, Dave.
Yeah, Dave. So let's go into that. That was a really good chunky moment there that we can bring to the sales training call. So what I was teaching these guys was you really need to be in tune with what these people want. Laura and I were sitting here working on the marketing today, and we were looking at the verbiage that the cover letter has for FSBOs, expireds, etc. And we were really thinking about what they want, right down to the headline, enclosed, details of properties that sold that affect you. And then we were talking about the cloud CMA, getting better detail in there. Because what they want is that information, right? That's what they want. And again, you're always theoretically guessing, but that's a pretty good guess that what they want is that. So whether they come in through the internet, I know you guys are doing a lot of internet, but some of you three are also doing expireds, etc. So we really have to kind of listen for what they want and learn so that when we bring it back here, we can make some headway. So having said that, going back to that call, Dave, break it down. Why did you self-critique after our call today and have that epiphany moment? What do you think went wrong?
Well, it was a fairly recent call, I think, this week, and just the tone of the conversation at the beginning sort of felt like maybe there was a possibility of her considering exposing her property to the market over the winter.
Yep.
And just trying to pick her brain about that and tell her, why that would be a good idea if she wanted to, get the most amount of money possible for her home. Just trying to go into those details. I feel like her tone in response to me, at the beginning, she was open to having a conversation, it sounded like, and the more that I sort of pushed for talking about listing over the winter, she became less interested as I brought more statistics to the table and tried to sort of create an action plan for potentially doing that. Mm-hmm. I could hear the interest in her tone waning. Yeah. To the point where at the end of the conversation, where I said, okay, well, I'll touch base with you after the new year. She just kind of didn't even seem like she wanted to talk to me then. That's sort of, of course, she never actually explicitly said that. Yeah. It's just the tone in which she was speaking back to me at the end of the conversation, which was different, because a lot of the times I'll have conversations with people where they'll pick up hello, they're kind of angry and they don't want to talk to me, and then I'll win them over and they're happy and they'll open up. And this one was the opposite of that. It sort of felt like,
Okay, was there
I think I pushed
awesome,
too much.
awesome. Well, good for you. For you knew it, right? You knew it in the moment, and you sensed something was wrong. When she flipped, okay, can you remember that moment in time? I don't know if you remember last week, but we had a really good recorded call that we could deal with from Lee, and we were really able to break it down. And since we don't have this, that's fine. But you go back in your mind's eye and you try to tell me what flipped her, because at one point in time she's leaning, she's thinking about putting in the market, you get excited, you lean in a little bit more, and somewhere in there the interest wanes. Can you identify a moment? Can you identify perhaps what you said?
She may have told me that she was going to, because I'm just trying to do this off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's okay.
She may have told me that she wanted to wait till the spring, and I said, okay, well, what would be the chances that you would consider putting it up for sale in the winter? And she said, maybe. And then once I started to try and break that down to her, she kind of was just like, okay, like, I don't think I would. I think I'd wait till the spring. And then I think I said something like, okay, but
yeah, right. There you go.
The winter,
there you go. Hold on. You know what's crazy?
It was too much for her.
Yeah. Hang on one second. Did I mute myself? Hey guys, did I mute myself? Hang on. Let me just see. Hang on one second. Check. Can you still hear me? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sorry, I don't know what happened there. I was trying to manage too many things here in the back end so I can manage comments on the internet. I think what key word there, and Laura's sitting with me here today, the key word there was but. Like, that's a confrontational word. I know it doesn't sound like it, but in that moment in time where she starts to go back the other way, you don't even consider that as an alternative for you, and I know why. You almost had her, the pressure was on you, and your desire to close her goes through the roof, right? Because you're thinking, oh no, I had one and I let it get away. And that's what I was saying to you guys today, as I think there's all this white-knuckled pressure that we all have, where we're really trying to lean in so hard to get that appointment that we lose our common sense. And even though you intuited something was going sideways, meaning you knew for sure that she had just waned and her interest was not there anymore, and you threw in a real hard curve, but... Any comments? Because you're looking at me there, so...
Yeah, just not... She shut down because you weren't listening to her.
Yeah.
And you were just kind of trying to sell her on doing something she wasn't really... I mean, she may have entertained the idea, maybe throwing out a stat or two and just planting that seed.
Yeah.
But I think you lost her because she felt like, this guy's just trying to sell me to get me in the door now, and I really want to wait till spring.
Yeah, well, I think there's that moment where we go from being this valuable helper, Dave, to a salesperson. And that's where I think this whole sales training thing really is. It's important to think about this, is that in that sales training moment, you really start to hear, well, we all say it. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that gal. I don't want to be sold like that. I want to be guided. I want to know what the value is. So, like I just said to Laura, we're in the middle of a negotiation here now. And the other side, the seller, who we don't represent, came back and said, okay, well, this is it, and maybe this isn't the house for them. All the nonsense language that happens during rookie negotiation stuff. It's emotional garbage. It's actually word whiskers. It doesn't make the other side a bad person. There's a lot of emotional word whiskers that come up during this time. So really it's this time where emotions start to pop into this, Dave. And we get emotional. You got emotional, but she got emotional. And so the key is to try to keep this all on this plane where emotions aren't wagging the tail of the conversation. Because the worst outcome is that now she perceives you as only somebody who wants what he wants. He keeps asking, not giving. And it's subtle. I don't think there's, Dave, listening to you today on both calls, I love your tone. You're a calm dude. All you Canadians sound calm to us Americans to begin with. But, you know, you have a nice way about you. And I think the problem is that it's that lack of understanding why I'm here for you. I remember what I said, Dave, and Eric and Patrick, all you. I said today, look, they can't see you. They don't have relationship with you. This is one of the first couple of times, if not the first time, you're ever talking to them. They might have no idea who Metro City Properties is. So we're in this mode where we're trying to get introductory, and we keep asking. And when I mean asking, you're asking for her to consider your point. No, but ask. No, but ask. Right? But ask. It just keeps coming as an ask and ask. And that sounds like this intuitively and subconsciously. I want. It doesn't say it out loud. You can even say we believe, or the market, you know, is indicating, but it says subtly to them, or not so subtly. I want. She's like, dude, I don't know. I gotta go. Because it's just a meltdown. It's a shutdown. It's you went from starting okay, and you could have had a great opening, Dave, and then all of a sudden they melt down on you. You follow me? So let's role play out what you would have done easier, and I'm gonna slow motion role play this with you, okay? And we'll you try to pretend you're her, remembering what she was like, and tell me the context of the lead. How did she come into you?
I think she was looking for a home eval maybe 6 months ago, and I was following up with her.
Okay, cool.
Because I had given her that, and I had sent her an area report at the time.
Yep.
And I was trying to find out her new timing and motivation, because that stuff sort of changes when you haven't spoken to someone in a while.
Good. All right. Well, that goes back to that goes back to our early training session with your team today about, you know, your notes and why wasn't she followed up on. When you went back there and saw that, do you see and do you remember that moment in time back then 6 months ago? Was it in your notes is what I'm trying to ask you?
Yeah, it was all there. The notes were there. And the notes even included that she was probably going to wait for the springtime.
Okay, good. So way back 6 months ago, which is really in the beginning of the summer, she was going to wait all the way to the spring, which was 9 months. So you're calling up and you're having a conversation with her. Great, okay? So now, there we are, and let's go a little bit further. So as we go a little bit further into this, you call up, and your intent was to try to sell her on doing something now or to check in. And it's okay, be honest. I mean, if it was to tip her, I'll take it, right?
Yeah, I think a bit of both, but I definitely was leaning in on the idea of setting up an action plan where we could at least show the value of doing something now as opposed to later, and maybe getting, putting the home up for sale in January or something like that. So definitely still trying to see what she wanted, but at the same time, there was a lot of lean in on let's do something now if there's something to be done now.
Yeah. Okay, good. Fine. And that's fine. Look at it. That's honest. I know what these guys want. They want you to try to tip these people. And what they really want you to try to do is get a meeting. So instead of overselling her, remember what I said today? Let's just stay with being aggressive first. Okay? Let's just stay with that, because we can't pull that punch. These guys want you to get them in the door. That's fine. So let's stay with that. But go back to what is the value? Right? What's the value in somebody coming today, even though she was thinking towards the spring? See, I think you're trying too hard to convince her why going on the market right now is there, and you're not really trying to add any value as to how you're helping her get prepared for whenever she decides. Mm-hmm. There's the big, I'm getting a big from Laura. Why?
Because that's the mentality we should have. It's help. Like, if someone's not ready to put their house on the market and sell it, it's not going to happen no matter what statistic you throw at them. You
hear that? No matter what statistic you throw at them, if they're not ready to sell in their mind's eye and they have made that decision, they're not going to do it. So if you've left yourself without a safety net, that's where somebody just disappears. And the saddest thing for businesses in the real estate agency business that are garnering leads and following up is that moment in time. It's the saddest thing, because I think more business is being lost in that moment because we are so pushing and our orientation is so off that we are forgetting to add that value first. I'm not saying that you can't ask after, yep, how you make it? We talked back 6 months ago and you had a couple of things and I sent you my vendors. I know you wanted to do some painting. Were you ever able to get that done? Anything else? You know, that's all the stuff that's in the plan. You know, right? I mean, that's what it is. Are you reconditioning your property? Are you cleaning it? Are you getting it prepared to be digitized, you know, on film? All those things were the opportunity there. And the question is, were you having that conversation? So I'll ask you, were you having that conversation? It's okay to say no. It's okay.
I could do a better job at that for sure.
Yeah. And well, the other question is that the three of you guys, Patrick, Eric, Dave, do you really know and are you really prepared and trained to do that? In other words, if I held up the 7 steps to selling success and stuck it in your face every time you're calling a seller and the buy side, I think it might be easier to remember how to help them. I think it's pretty easy to forget how to help somebody in that moment where you guys have a very difficult job. You have this very short window of time. They cannot see you. They can run away and hang up on you in a second. And you're trying to be valuable in that moment in time. I think that's probably one of the toughest parts of the conversion module, period. To start and initiate that relationship and make somebody feel comfortable over the phone that some foreign voice and some foreign branded company, if they don't know you, is trustworthy enough to stay on the line. So I think it's a very, very difficult moment in time. So I think that's where we need to go with this, is being valuable and remembering, am I giving? Am I giving? Am I giving? And then even my ask at this stage might even just be an ask suggestion. Right? It might not even be like, hey, I really think that, you know, the winter is better because of this, because there's less. Now you're overselling that moment. I just taught Laura this in negotiation today, right? Laura and I in negotiation, we're talking about this today, where what we were saying is, we were talking about, okay, what we want, wrap it up. It's Friday. We're down to $5,000 on something, and it's Friday. Like, you know, that would feel good. And what I said is, okay, this is where you go patient. Watch what happens here. They've said this. But let's just do our next step as if
they didn't say that.
They didn't. Right. Not that we're being disrespectful, but our client still wants to make one more counter. Okay? Then when we really hear firm no's, then everybody can decide what they're going to do. But we're not going to lose a deal over something that's less than 1%. We know that. Yeah. Like, people aren't insane, right? We want to buy, they want to sell, we're that close, there's no big obstacle. Mm-hmm. So the moment really calls for patience. That's what it calls for the most. Brutally difficult to have patience. Brutally difficult. Because we are emotional people and we have a job to finish, especially if you're working for somebody else and they're giving you a check every week. You have a job that you're feeling that pressure to finish. But I'm going to express this to all the bosses out there, that I think you have to be more patient with the people and train them better, number one. That's why we're here today. This is a training moment. Like, this is a big deal, because the bosses, quote unquote, or the owners, quote unquote, are actually losing money if they have people pushing too hard with wrong context. Money's leaving.
For sure.
It's leaving. You want to add to that?
You could probably save her. I think she's salvageable by giving, and don't ask again.
And saying, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. My fault, my fault, my fault. I should have, the last time we talked, given you this. I should have upgraded this information. I should have given you this list of contractors. There you go. Yeah. Give. Yeah. You hear that, Dave? You with me?
Yeah, I planned that out actually in my notes for next time I speak with her.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't wait.
No, you need.
I wouldn't wait.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's something in the new year. That's going to be months from now. So ideally, I would like her to forget that conversation.
No, I don't agree. No, hold on. We're not agreeing with you.
Okay.
No, it's today.
Give her a gift today.
It's today. You're late already.
And call the conversation out.
Oh, call her today?
When did you talk to her?
Either this week or the end of last week.
Okay, it's already too late. Because the minute you recognize you did something wrong, you want to take ownership of it. Because the minute you did something wrong, and you know you did something wrong in her eyes, because she wanted to go on and do something else, which was get away from you, that makes you, this pregnant spot here is growing, and this void is growing, and you're just remembered in that moment. That's an echo, buddy. Okay, the echo is you asked, you didn't listen. So, no, you don't want her to forget anything, and you don't want to forget it. You missed my point. I'm going to say it again. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. Latin for my fault, my fault, my fault. I should have added more value in our last conversation. I should have made sure that no matter when you wanted to list, you were understanding these are the key points here that we guide everybody with. Condition, staging, and I want to keep you up to date on what's selling around you so you can see local trends. So I emailed you out this and I mailed it. You need to do something right now, and you need to do it in abundance, right? It's almost like when somebody, agitates their partner, their wife, their friend, their business associate. Bring the frickin' bouquet of roses right now and say, I'm sorry, I should have done this. Got it?
That makes sense.
Yeah, because otherwise you have already chased them away. And don't be deluded.
It will make that next call much harder.
Much harder. The longer it goes, and the less we take responsibility.
And she probably won't answer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Just leave her a very nice, apologetic message with gifts are on the way.
Yeah. We have never believed in gifts so much as we do now. We send them to everybody and anybody for everything. Speaking of which, right out the door to Nathan Clark today too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we just got a referral today. We want to always reward the behavior with gifts. You always want to say sorry with gifts. You always want to give. It's the right thing to do, by the way. It's not some sort of gimmicky, tricky thing. Oh, they'll get back and like me because no. Give it without anything in return because it's the right thing for you, Dave, to do in this moment to get better. You got me?
Yeah.
Patrick, Eric, anything you want to add to that? Any thoughts since we have you three in the hot seat today?
I think that was good.
Okay, cool. All right.
I agree with everything.
Good. All right. Let's roll on. Paul Cantu, you back in from grocery shopping?
Yeah.
All right, dude. You got a mimosa?
I tried to make
You got a
friends while I was listening.
you got a mimosa? You ready to go?
No. Eating healthy.
Yeah. All right. So, Paul, I complimented you earlier as being definitely one of our best inside sales agents, and you happen to be the owner of your company, so it's impressive that you are even, that disciplined to do them. So that's my compliment to you first. So the next thing is that you and I, though, we're going through something that as you're diving really back into your business and you're really becoming very, very, reorganized, and you're getting your hands on the heartbeat of your database in those conversations, as you and I were talking on our one-on-one, it was revealed to me. Hey guys, hello guys, live mics, hello, live mics, guys. You have to star 6 your mic if you're going to talk in the background, okay? Otherwise, you got to put you in voice
How do you
jail.
know that wasn't me, Dan?
Yeah, you have ventriloquist. And you have different voices. I like it. So Paul, let's go back to the script because you're using a very old script. I first want to role play and talk about the genesis of the lead. What leads are you calling in this database?
Well, let's just focus on one source because I call all different kinds of leads. But let's just for the sake of this, let's go with sync buyers.
Yep. Okay, go ahead. Sync buyers. And so what are you doing? What are you doing with sync buyers?
Calling, and I've up until this week when we talked, more or less still using the...
Oh, hello. Is that you?
No, that's not me, man. Using the Proctor House Hunter script from 14 million years ago.
Yep. Which we talked about. Well, read that. Let's get that into the call here. Everybody way back when we would get leads. Laura's smiling because she knows it oh so well, and it scared her.
It's like
she just turned white.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. Why though? Why for you? Say that to Paul. Why?
Oh, it just brings me back to a time in my job that I really hated. That's all.
Okay.
That's interesting because when I look back, it takes me back to a time where I made more money than I ever made in my life using that script. The only problem is that times have changed, and the offer of a house hunter service or home hunter service, whatever the hell you want to call it, basically setting them up on a custom search whereby you can receive updates of properties that match your criteria before most other buyers even know about them. The great thing is, blah, blah, blah. It's not only small real estate companies, but off-market properties as well. The service is free and there's never any obligation, da, da, da. So back then, it was a fantastic offer because there weren't a million outlets or channels for them to get this information on their own. Phones weren't one-tenth what they are now, 10 years ago. So I look back on that script very fondly. But looking, having that conversation with Danny on Monday, I'm like, yeah, God, we got to update this. This is boring. This is boring, and it's not anything anybody wants.
But it's beyond It's beyond boring. What it is incorrect as an offer, or inadequate as an offer, or inappropriate.
Absolutely.
I could even use the word inappropriate because I'm going to get you properties that match your exact criteria. Originates back in a day where a newspaper ad primarily would generate a phone call to maybe a recorded hotline or whatever it would be, and you would capture that. And the offer was, look, I'm going to mail you. Think about the work we used to do. It's crazy when you think about a pre-digital age. I'm going to mail you updates of properties that match your criteria. So you as a buyer are going to get an envelope with printouts of properties that match your criteria. That's what you're going to get. So that's where that script originates. So if we're not morphing and changing the way we see it, Paul, what we don't do on these scripting coaching calls, we don't put ourselves on the side of the consumer and say, what's the value that you're calling me up with? That's what I was just talking to the boys about before that, right? What is the value that you're calling me up with? What value added can you make? And this is where a lot of people just fold a tent, Paul, and they're like, oh, that offer is no good because now Zillow just gives it to them automatically. Huh? Like what? That's just information got easy to send. We all were able to do that. Whether it's you go sign up for an IDX site that could send them out, or the back end of your MLS, which I'm a huge proponent of you all using for prospects, sending them out information and controlling that flow, that's a big deal. But where the value is, even in the moment of that call, as I was expressing to Dave, is what insight can you add? And that's unique. That's a unique selling proposition. The only people that can add value, really are humans, because it's insight. Insight takes a different level. It's not just delivery of this black and white. Hey, maybe artificial intelligence replaces us all one day and we're all doing something different. I don't know. Maybe we'll all end up farmers again someday because robots will run the world. I don't know. But we make such much ado about all this threat to us, and we forget what makes us valuable. So I recommend the book by Morton Hansen that I'm reading, and I posted for the Mastermind members the other day a little snippet out of it. Paul, what's your value? So when you're calling a sync lead right now, before we get into scripting, what is your value, do you believe, at that moment in time?
Sorry, I had to unmute you there.
It's okay.
I'm not articulating it, obviously, so I don't know. I know intuitively my value is that I'm a fantastic real estate agent. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and if someone does hook up with me, they're going to get better service and better negotiation than with anybody else. And I truly believe that. I don't mean that to sound whatever. I believe that in my heart, that I'm better than anyone else in my market.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to articulate that I try to keep I'm not sure what Laura's rule of thumb is, but I try to keep my voicemails to exactly 1 minute or a couple seconds less. I never like to go over that minute mark because I'm just like, you're talking too long, in my opinion. So, how do I do that? And so this conversation is taking a really different turn because with the scripts I was playing around with this week aren't anything like we're talking about, so maybe I'm totally still off. I was going the other route, which was just super casual, Hi, Danny. This is Paul with searchforhomesinseattle.com. Thanks for checking out my real estate website. Just wanted to see if you got all the information you were looking for. If I can be of service, I'd love to help. Call or text me, 206-459-9341. Thank you so much, and I hope you're having a great day. Boom. Done.
Yeah, and that's what you
That's
and
what
I.
I've been leaving.
Yeah.
Relaxed.
Yeah, and that's what you and I. But that's what you and I talked about last night. There was a subtlety in there that said, I think you were saying something much longer than that when we were talking yesterday. So that actually even sounds different to me.
No, I totally crunched it up or crunched it down. Yeah. I was putting the real my real estate company name and blah blah blah. No, I definitely truncated it.
Yeah. Okay.
That was great.
Yeah. Go ahead. Who said that? Was that Grant?
That was GVD and Katie here. I thought it was great. That's exactly our message. If we don't get them, that's the message we leave. Our tone's a little slow, or not tone, the tempo a little bit slower. But otherwise, that's exactly what we do. Hey, we're here to help. Got some information out to you. If you need any assistance in scheduling homes to see, we're here to help. Again, it's Grant Van Dyke, Platinum Realty. Leave a phone number, and off we go. Have a great day.
Yeah. Well, guys, think about it. Think about it this way: if you're on the other side of the phone, and you've just come into an internet website, and you just exchanged your information for nothing more than access. You get it. I mean, this is not a trick anymore. We're well down the line on all this. The consumer gets that the minute they cough up some information, there's a high probability somebody might try to contact them, okay? I mean, I'm not saying every consumer, we're not in an absolute world where they all get it, but they did, or they were willing enough to look at this website, value it enough to exchange their private information, and now maybe somebody's going to contact. But if you're them, guys, Grant, I'll throw it over to you and Katie, and we'll tennis ball with Paul a little bit here. If they're on the other side, and you're using Real Geeks still, right, for that, so he's got Sync, you've got Real Geeks, one's less branded, one's branded. Somebody, or Realtor.com and Zillow, we can get into that stuff in a second too, because that's different, but a lot different, I think. But the minute you give them that, what is your value to them if they're sitting there? Don't you say anything yet, because I can see your brain turning too, but I want to hear from you too. So Grant, Katie, what's the value added? Like, think about it before you even give me what you say in a message. If you're that person, what do you really want if there's some interest inside the next 12 months? Let's presume we have a good lead.
If you're that person, if I'm the consumer looking online, looking at the lead.
Yep. And you just gave me your info. What is it?
I'm thinking, okay, great. I have a resource to call if I want to schedule an appointment or know if about the schools, community information, things like that.
Katie, what are you thinking? If you opt into a site, right? You're online and you're sitting in Boston and you're thinking of moving to Carefree, Arizona. What are you thinking? What do you need in that moment? It's early. I'm 12 months away. You're getting a job transfer, something like that. What do you need? What do you want?
I would want to know more about the neighborhoods and the things to do in the neighborhoods, not so much the houses.
Okay. See, now what's interesting is neighborhood came up twice. I want some more insight about the general area, not even the specific property. Maybe I'm beginning to look at it and see, guys and gals in the mastermind, we talked about this yesterday in the mastermind, digital marketing. The whole purpose of me getting into the website business with Eric was to make sure that there's a demonstration of more information. Give what? Neighborhood information, right? Yeah. Which attaches quickly to, look at, you know what I would be looking for? Where's Whole Foods? Where's Trader Joe's? I know you're laughing, but think about that. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. I would be looking for that very thing if I move, because I'm going to find a house somewhere. But the minute I go out the driveway, what's it about first? Lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And we just keep ignoring that. See, in sales, in real estate, we're so sucked up into this vacuum of the lead and the property, we are forgetting what the consumer might really need help with, which is orientation. Right? I've always lived in this neighborhood, and even though that one's only a mile down the road, I don't know what the village is like. Can you tell me something? Or better yet, on your website, do you have anything that leads to that? See, so Grant and Paul, since you guys are both beta testers on the website, you see how that ties in, and now we bring it back to telemarketing? Is that, Hey, Grant, Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. I saw that you were on my website taking a look around at some of the properties. I wanted to make sure you knew that there was neighborhood information there too. So on the front page, you can go to any of the neighborhoods. And I just want to let you know that we're here for just to be a resource, whatever you need. If you need insight into neighborhoods, properties, you want to set up a showing, whatever it might be, it's free, it's no obligation. We'll follow up with you to see if we can help. I mean, I'm making it up because I want you to see the value first.
Maybe we need to really
Absolutely.
brainstorm of what the best or the most important things that a buyer would be interested in.
Well, let's do it right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do it right now.
Because, in thinking about that message that Paul and Grant leave, like, if I was a buyer, I would never call that person back. Really? I mean, it was just like, yeah, you're on your website. Like, if you need help, want to set up some showings, call me. Like, no. That's
Okay, so
that's so forgettable.
good, keep coming, get it out of you. What is not unforgettable? What do you want?
So I think leaving what relevance you have to them that would be important, what your gifts are, and stating them.
But it's but it's in the context of what they want.
Yes.
See,
So
sales has to start.
if you need insight on, neighborhoods or schools, community resources, crime rates, like formulating a list of what you think would be most beneficial to that other person on the other line.
Which makes me think for the website company, guys, that's the whole premise of what we have to do at the neighborhood levels that we cover, is that digital resource should be a place where they can go and they can take a look for all that stuff, right?
Yeah, if it's not your website, doing research to find a website that does provide that information.
Go ahead, guys. Somebody was talking in the background there in San Diego, so I had to mute it a little bit there. Go ahead. I want to hear this. You two, stay in the hot seat.
Yeah, well, I think I truly think it's a great idea for us to brainstorm about what's most important to buyers. But what I care about in the context of this call is I want it boiled down to a 60-second message. I'm talking about voice notes because 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 calls them leaving a voice note. What I want is a script.
I think that's where it is, Paul. I think it's let's just go through it. I was pulling up the scripts while we were talking about it. Okay, let me see what footprint we have.
And I'm emailing you right now a little community website thing
Yeah.
that has exactly the kind of thing I think you're talking about, exploring the area, blah, 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 schools, crime stats, all this stuff. And if you can, I don't know if you have a webinar or not, but if not, you can do it.
I don't have a webinar, but I'll read it. I don't need a webinar for this one because I'll read it. I'll read it out loud.
Cool.
If you just send it to me, and then I'll read it for everybody.
60 seconds.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about that. If there's this is a good question because this is a scripted message that sets up the future. So number one, I'm going to say I think you have to stay with identify. Okay. You have to stay with that first beat there. You have to identify who you are and why you're calling, right?
Yeah, the first part of the script was perfect.
Yeah, and that's the operative part. I think what he did was, if there's context, well, there's always context. In this case, it's an internet lead that comes in to look for properties on his website. Restate the website. Hey, I'm Paul Cantu, the owner of this website. You came in searching for homes and left your information there. Okay? That's, you identify. The next thing is, I think I'm just going to put this big word here, value, but then I'm going to put beyond. Okay? I think he's going to have to deal with the value beyond that. Okay? Maybe he could check in, identify, and then, hoping you're finding everything that you want there. Okay? And then it's sort of like, if not, or did you know beyond that, there's this. So what is that, in your opinion, Laura, what is the beyond that moment for a message? What would you want them to know based on what they want?
Beyond that, I can send you sold properties of, stuff so you can see what your money will buy. I have resources for neighborhoods, or I'm not articulating it.
Well, we're mind dumping.
Just like neighborhood, info.
Anybody want to jump in here? Tony Legendry, I see that you're out there, and I know that you've worked very hard on some of this stuff too, as far as messages are concerned. So what we're talking about here today, if you're joining us late, is the context of what do you say when you leave a message. And in this context, these are internet leads that came in looking for the buy side. And the majority of the time, people that are really making these calls find that you're going to have to leave a message. Mm-hmm. But that message needs to be good. It can't be like asking. It has to be provocative enough to say, huh, that sounded valuable to me.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
It has to be that. Otherwise, I think it's, I don't know. Yeah, go. Go, Tony.
Like, I think it'd be cool if you had if it was a 60-second or less than that message.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
One or two, three things that maybe is top of mind of what adds value to them now. But our challenge always with buyers or sellers is that there's a whole bunch of value that they don't even know that we're going to give and that they're going to need when they get into the process, and it doesn't become evident until later. I wish there was an easy way of addressing the elephant in saying it very short that, like, hey, Danny,
yeah. Go ahead. I cut you off.
You may find this valuable, and this valuable, but I do want to let you know, depending on your time frame when you get into the transaction, there's a whole bunch more that you need to know, and I want to educate you about that. Yeah. I don't know how you'd say that.
Yeah, I don't know that you say that.
Hey,
yeah, go ahead, Heather. Heather, go ahead.
this is Heather. You know, one thing that I think is really great for that is the home seller course. If you have that set up in an automated way, it's hard if you have to leave a message for that. But even that is text me your email. I won't,
Yeah, but hold on, Heather. Hold on. This is a really good conversation because here's what I'm going to say. I've learned that's premature in that moment, and what Tony's saying is right. Yeah. There's a subtlety. There's a subtlety here. We are so boiling over with our desire to say, oh, if you only knew what you need, and if you only knew that we're the right people because we have a plan. It's that exuberance that's bubbling up in us that's blinding us to what they want in that moment, okay? And it just happened right there too. Yeah. And it just happened there too. Tony's feeling it, you capitalized on it, and I actually wrote all the cover letters for the marketing that way originally. Look. Danny? Hold on, Gail. Look. 7 steps. Isn't this great? What I found out from the consumer was what they actually wanted in that moment were the comparables. For example, in context of expireds, they wanted the comparables that sold in the price range that were on the market when they were. In other words, what was successful when I wasn't, and what were the details so that I can give myself a shake. Okay? Now, in that package, we've redone that letter, as you all know, where we say, here's what you wanted because your friends told us you wanted it. That's first. It's not a thorough analysis, but it's a snapshot of what happened when you did it. Next, like Tony's saying, what you need is this second thing. And when we get a little bit further along with people, this is what we do with our successful sellers. So I get exactly where Tony's going, but now I got to come back and satisfy that first message ever. This is the first message ever. So if there's even a chance for it, it better be subtle because it's actually an ask.
Yeah.
It's not a give. I'm not saying that we're not giving the thing, but it's in that context, I think it's an ask. It's not a give. I think at this moment, hey, it's Paul Cantu from Cantu Realty Group, and the reason I'm calling is I own this site, and you went there to use it. I just want to make sure you're getting everything that you need from that site, number one, okay? That's a give. You went in there, you exchanged information. I just want to make sure we're giving you all the information regarding properties that you want. And I might even say want to program my brain, right? This is what I'm giving you this because this is what it appears you want. You might also want what? What's next? What's next?
Off-market listings.
Okay, that's one thing if you really have them, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise.
If you talk to anybody, a lot of them say, bring me in a buyer. So I put that on a spreadsheet, and I know exactly the ones that don't want to sell right now, but if I had a buyer, so I use those.
Okay. All right, go ahead. What were you going to say, Laura?
Definitely a list of solds. I think that is powerful for the buy side as well.
Okay,
I mean,
so what they might want, okay, this is really difficult. Tony, you're right. This is a real difficult moment because there's this give
I think it
versus
matters
ask.
too on like if someone's relocating, like they're moving to Seattle.
Yeah.
I think, crime rates, neighborhood, community info is going to be the number one thing that they're going to want. Lifestyle, market trends, because they're going to have no idea about that marketplace. But if they're local, I think they're going to want other things.
Paul, what is the thing that they might want that you could give them? You tell me, because that's where your script's going to come from.
Well, right now, the market shifted so dramatically in the last 6 months in favor of buyers. Maybe just some information, very brief information as to how the market's tilted their way, because it's been awful for buyers the last 4 years, 8, 10, 12 offers, no inventory, blah, blah, blah. And it's completely shifted. It's a buyer's market right now. So maybe something that encapsulates the shift in market in, 15 seconds or less, along with the intro, how I found you, what I gave you, by the way, please let me know if I can be of service, blah, 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 close out.
Okay. You guys are getting there. I'm making some notes here. Because between
Hey,
you...
Danny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this is Aida.
Go ahead, Aida.
I think what they want is help, and I think that if somebody was calling me, to be completely honest, I would want the most straightforward voicemail in order to call back. Because if I'm wandering on the internet, I probably need help getting to where I want to be. So if someone actually told me, I would love to set you up with an appointment to view some homes and be of help for you, rather than selling me so much on a gift, I guess just, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this.
No, I got you. No, I got you.
If somebody told me I'm sending you a free gift or anything with the word free and gift in a voicemail, I probably honestly wouldn't call back because of the fact that I might think it's a scam. Because, what is really free nowadays, right? But even though our service is technically free to help them, I would word it in a way that's more straightforward, just making sure they know we're here to help and getting them just where they want, but not, oh my gosh, I'm trying to find the right word.
No, hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
I'm trying to say too much to overwhelm them in a voicemail.
I can help you.
Okay.
I can help you. Said it 3 times, right? Watch this.
Yeah,
no. You nailed it. You helped me put it together because as soon as you said the word help, I put it over to the left of 3 wants. Okay? Hey, Aida, it's Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because you were in our website, thegriffin.co, looking for properties for sale. And I thought that you might want help refining that criteria to make sure you're getting exactly what you want and also get an update on how our general local market is doing and maybe even get a little bit more information on what the money's buying with some sold properties. Boom. Like I just hit all three, but I just hit all 3 bullet points. So if you could give me a quick call back, I'll make sure you're getting what you want. And just reiterate it again. So let me say it again. Aida, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because you had visited our site, thegriffin.co, searching for properties for sale. And I thought you might want some help refining the criteria to make sure you get exactly the properties you want, but also I thought you might want to know how the local market's doing and what the money is actually buying. So if you could give me a call back, I could tighten up the criteria a little bit and make sure you're getting all of this. I never mentioned gift. I sounded helpful, and I hit 3 major beats of the stuff we talk about every day in this business, okay? Refining their criteria, making it more specific, answering the question, how's the market, which they all ask, and then what Laura said, which we've talked about in this group as being a differentiator, getting them all sold information so they see what the money buys on the buy side. I'm dealing with a buyer here. Now, obviously, that's on the sell side. Let me switch it. Let's pretend this was another lead on that side, okay? And we come at it and we say, okay, we have a seller internet lead, Paul. We want to leave the same kind of message for. hey, Aida, it's Danny Griffin calling from thegriffin.co, and I saw that you came in and asked for a property evaluation. So I wanted to just call you and make sure we refine the criteria so you get the exact value that you're looking for. And I answer the question for you, how the market is doing and how that affects your price, and ultimately really going over some of the solds with you so you see how those affect you. And again, I'm reaching for it, but I'm hitting the same beats. I don't have to go really off that script if I hit those beats. So one is, I want to refine your criteria for buying, for selling. Two is, I want to answer the question, how the local market's doing and how that affects you. And three, get a little bit more specific by actually adding in sold information, which is super insightful and helpful. So I'm making a presumption because of all the things they actually took the action to put criteria in. They want that. Duh.
The one thing I just I'm not sold on is, narrowing their criteria. Because a lot of times someone needs to be kind of general until they actually get out in the field and then narrow. Or they're going to miss out on properties that are close to their criteria.
Well, you don't have to say refine it. What about just making sure it's right? I mean,
but if they put it on their criteria themselves,
make sure the website's sending you the right stuff. I mean, I can like overcome that objection you're giving me 100 different ways. Because what I'm saying is, what do they want? They wanted to put their information in to get specifics on properties.
Yes.
Theirs or a whole bunch of them on the buy side. Mm-hmm. Yes? Right or wrong, right?
Correct.
That's your entry point. So this is why I keep saying, if we will simply consider the consumer and what they're doing, I'm going to take the time on a property evaluation to answer some questions to get back what I want, a guesstimate of value. I know it's a guesstimate if I'm a consumer, but I'm still going to put it in, and I want that in here, right? So Zillow, in their infinite wisdom of just being big data, they just use an algorithm to do it and spit back out, even with a disclaimer that this could be off by 20%. But the people still want it, and they used the tool. So they used it as a lead. Now, our differentiator, I can't speak. You just gave me your disease. Differentiator is that we're going to call up and say, hey, listen, I got your request for a property evaluation. It's not just a spit you back algorithm guesstimate. So I want to make sure the criteria is right, and I have a few other questions. Okay? You could use that. Plus, I want to just talk to you about the local market and how that's affecting what you do. And lastly, I want to be able to send you some solds in general. That's not a property eval, but I want to be able to send them to you. And I'm just trying to get the major points on the table here that we know that's the case. Hey, guys in Kentucky, your mic's a little hot. Did you want to add something to the conversation? Or do I need you to mute?
No, sorry, I muted Mike accidentally.
Okay, thanks. So, Paul, I think it's right in there somewhere. So let me state it slowly again on the buy side, because that's what you're looking for a script on. Hi, Paul. It's Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. I saw that you came to my website, thegriffin.co, searching for properties. I just wanted to call you back and make sure you're getting what you want and the criteria is correct. And also wanted to make sure you knew how the local market was doing and how that's affecting prices. And so I'm also going to, send you some sold properties so that you can see what the money's buying. I think it's something like that, Paul.
Yeah, if you can type that into a Word document and put it on page, that'd be great.
And you've been hanging around. You've been hanging around Stillwell too long. I will.
What do you want me to do? Take short?
Yeah. Any thoughts about that, Paul? Does it feel?
Good call, Paul.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think it's good. It's a little bit wordy for me, but I think I could make it my own and keep the same message. Just shorten it up just a little, tighten it up a little bit. But I mean, obviously you're spitballing. I think it's great. I'd give you a solid A- there, Danny.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking for. Well, maybe we cut it to 2 beats because we use Occam's razor, right? The simplest solution is the best one. So we can say this in the least amount of words as long as it conveys enough information to be intriguing, like Aida said. And what Aida said, I was with from the beginning. It has to be a helpful tone, and it has to talk about what they want. I think those 2 things matter, okay? And I think the gift is appropriate for letters and actually physically delivering it and stuff like that. So I think, Aida, you're right. I think more so what we sent them could be considered a gift. And I think that, Tony, I think there's a time where that comes. I don't think it's right now. That's just my opinion. You can try it otherwise, but I just, unless you know that their timing's right now, geez, it sounds like, Tony, you're going to make a move very quickly. So I thought what you might need to is our strategic approach. So I put that in the mail, or I sent that via, email. But I think they'd have to give you an indication of that their timing's right now. I don't think it's appropriate for longer term leads in general. If I'm going to play odds, I'm saying this better be much more about what they want, and it needs to be intriguing enough. So, Paul, I think Occam's razor, we take the last two beat, how's the market, what the money buys. And what we've been saying, and Laura, has been intrigued by, hey, I just want to make sure, Danny, all the criteria that you put in there was correct, and my website's sending you the right types of properties. That's number one. And number two, I wanted to make sure it includes properties that have sold so that you see what the money's buying. Like, I think if you could cut this down to 2 beats, I think that's it.
So, Danny, can we, and I don't, if you want to go to a different topic, that's cool, but I was wondering, what about the 2 out of 10 people we actually get on the phone? Like, would you want to role play that with me or someone on the phone here?
Sure, dude.
Okay.
Hey,
it doesn't have to be me. You can grab somebody else.
it's you.
Okay.
It's you. Hi, is Paul there?
Yes, Paul.
Hey, Paul, Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. You had come in my website actually quite some months ago, thegriffin.co, looking for properties for sale. Just curious, did you ever buy one, Paul?
No, I was pretty much just browsing. I'd like to buy, but I'm not sure when that's going to be.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated would you say you to buy one if the right one was in front of you in the next 12 months?
I'm very motivated. I just need to get myself in that position. I'd buy tomorrow if I could, but I need to work on a couple things and get myself in a better position. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to buy. Hopefully, I guess it'd be great next year if I could.
Perfect. So, Paul, have you ever gone through the pre-qualification process? I'm guessing that that's probably what you're referring to.
I have not gone through the pre-qualification process.
All right. Well, one of the things I would say, beyond just looking at the properties, if you haven't gone through pre-qualification, I think that's probably a good first step. Only because what it'll do is make you just get some clarity about what you want to spend, Paul, and what that money buys. So that's the reason I'm calling, is because beyond just sending you stuff that's for sale, once we know what you're matched up with, in other words, what you're going to really be comfortable buying, I'd rather just send you some solds first, show you what the money bought, listen to what you like and don't like, and then refine the criteria. So would it be okay if I sent you my lender?
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's what I would do. See, Paul, that's what I would do. And I had right in front of me, ironically, the buyer, I had the buyer plan right in front of me. And so I was cheating it because I'm saying, what does this guy want? Okay? I know it's subtle. It's what you need too. But what you want is some clarity on what it is. And you were going to be very quick with me on that phone call too, which was fine. So what you wanted and actually needed was help with financing. And then that allowed me to go
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was looking for what was going to be the gift.
Yeah.
And you gave it to me, which was, so that's what I was trying to see. That's why I threw your curveball in and didn't just say, I'm ready to buy now, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, that's why I say,
offer.
Well, perfect. And that's why I say with scripting, we have to be careful. Now, remember what I said. Hey, Paul, you came in my website a while ago. Why did I say that? Because you've been cleansing your database. So you might be following up on these old sync leads that, you don't know what happened, right? Yeah, I was browsing. Oh, really? Yeah. Anything motivate you to buy a house? Originally, would there be anything? I'm going to have a conversation with you in that moment in time. Because what I want to do is come to a conclusion. Does this guy actually want any help? How about that? How about just pulling those two words together and say, do you want any help at all? Right? From anybody. Not me, but anybody. Because if you do, what do you need help with? Because if it's got nothing to do with looking at properties online, which it didn't right there, it had everything to do with getting pre-qualified. Geez, I got to get a couple things cleaned up. Well, who told you had to get a couple things cleaned up? A lender?
Yeah.
Great. What did the lender say? What's the time frame? Did you get pre-qualified for a number? Are you comfortable buying a number? Because, Paul, what I can do right now is find out what that number is, where you want to be, and send you a list of the solds to give you insight as to what the money bought. Oh, by the way, while you have me, I don't know if you're aware, the market is really starting to correct in the buyer's favor. So what I'm going to show you is actually even declining. It hasn't been a good time to buy, or better time to buy for a buyer as there is now as things are trending down. Now I've been insightful, I've been helpful, but I started off by first finding out, where are you at? I'm going to meet you in my script, Paul, or my plan, right where you're at. So I'm not going to try to force you into this process that says, well, we represent the buyers and we can set you up online. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, where are you at? Where are you at? Why'd you do this? Yeah, I just like looking at properties. I'm never going to move. No sweat. Enjoy. You want me to leave you in there, Paul? Would it be helpful if I just left you in there? You know what I mean? I might say that. But at least in my world, I know that I could put you up. Hey, Paul, if you know anybody that's serious about buying in a shorter period of time, do me a favor. Would you remember me to them? That's it. I'll get something. And I'll move the guy off. He's a nice guy. Now he knows me. Maybe he sees my sign. He gets a postcard. He tells his sister. I don't know. But I'm just going to be a good steward of the moment. What did Paul want? Did I help him with it? That's it. That's it. So I think let's do another one and give me another scenario when I come at you, okay? Hi, is Paul there?
Yeah, Paul.
Hey, Paul, it's Danny Griffin calling from the Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is about 6 months ago, you'd been in the Griffin.co searching for properties, which is curious. Did you ever buy a property?
No. Your site's great, but listen, I got an agent.
Oh, you do? Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you still looking for a property with the agent?
Every now and then, not every weekend, but a couple times a month maybe.
Do you still use our website, Paul?
Yeah, every now and then. I like it. Really, I enjoy the format. It's awesome.
Okay, perfect. Then I don't want to delete you out of there and eliminate the account. That's why I was calling. So I'll tell you what, feel free to use it. All I ask in return is that if it doesn't work out with your realtor or you're not finding that situation helpful, would you give us a shot to have a conversation?
If it doesn't work out in the realtor, I'll call you up. No problem.
Perfect. And if you buy something, will you let me know too? Because we like to clean up our database once somebody's found it to be helpful enough.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, buddy. That's it. I'm not going to do more than that. You came out of the box hot about that. I don't have all day to try to win you over from somebody. I know somebody might else.
That's actually exactly what I say too. I mean,
Yep.
to the letter. That's exactly what I say when people say I have an agent. I just say, hey, cool, keep using the site, and if for some reason it doesn't work out, give me a call. I'd love to help you.
Yeah, I don't look at. I could teach all day long how to challenge that situation. Are you committed to that agent and all that crap? Why? Like, we don't live in that kind of world of scarcity. Why? Just be nice, be helpful. Because most people, it's sort of like where we started the call today, Paul. If you over pursue somebody because you're asking, including asking them to dump their realtor, what? That's just insane. What a waste of time. All right, buddy, did we cover the points for you today? You good?
Yeah.
I'll write
I'm
it.
good.
I'll
be perfect once you post that to the site, to the page.
I will. I'll write it. I'm gonna. You know what I will do? I will write it into the spreadsheet we've been working on as a voicemail. Yeah. Somebody sounded like they wanted to ask me another question. I'll do a little OT here today.
It's me. It's Chris, and I just wanted to echo what Paul said. I love your new script. Some from his same paradigm. I feel like the practice script's old and hackneyed, and I love the new script. Greatly appreciate you posting that. To shift gears just a little bit, I wanted to see if you could review and also post to the group a essential list of materials for open houses. Just because I feel like I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And I know one of those was recent sold. Of course, one is property information sheet, but you had a nice list of things that you bring to every open house, and a format as far as who you hand out to what, who you hand out what materials to, and I think that'd be helpful to review.
I think that there is. I think there's a video of me. I walk through it so you can see it.
No, we talked about that.
No, I did one.
You did?
I did one from Old County. See if we can find on the Facebook, and we'll share that.
From your phone, on your phone?
No, I posted it into the Realty Classroom. Yeah, Chris, I have a video of it. That's the easiest way to do it. So let me just find it. Yeah, it's the easiest way. But just to summarize, imagine walking in. I'm near the door. I have a sign-in sheet. hey, thanks for coming to the open house. Sellers asked that I have everybody sign in. So if you don't mind doing so, it's right there. There's a sign-in sheet. So sign-in sheet's number one. When you're done with that, the feature sheet of the property, which is what they want, is right there. You can take one of those. Now, in addition to those materials, there definitely should be the infographics for buying and selling. And we're setting those up as we speak, sitting here right now, setting those up like oversized business cards. Okay, so those of you on Facebook can see the bottom of it. It actually looks like a business card. Okay, those will be being posted, Chris, as soon as they're done from MRG. So we're turning the infographics into business cards. Albeit I would have my business card there. I'd much rather you took those with my info on it. And I'd much rather, hand you the buy side one with my info on the bottom. Okay, so those two things, whether they're buying or selling, I'm prepared. You may also bring some of the magazines, buying and selling magazines, right? That's the more thorough, really nice presentation. And then lastly, remember that whole concept of that upsell to that insightful sold information. We're going to have that physically manifested in a printout, Cloud CMA version. Is that what we're using? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and actives too.
yeah, so we'll do just a little stack of actives and solds so that if I'm able to get into a conversation, I'm definitely going to make sure you have a strategy, infographic, and, oh, by the way, here's a list of other properties in this price range in this town that are available. And more importantly, there's some stuff that's sold so you can see what the money's buying these days. So you can make a proper comparison. So I may send you out the door with an infographic, well, a feature sheet for that house, 2 infographics, 2 magazines, and a list of properties if you went down the list and took everything. So there you go. There's everything.
Let me start a pot because I normally like to do that. Why would you even have the infographic as opposed to just the magazine?
First of all, Barney Rubble, you haven't done an open house since the Stone Ages, but I appreciate you jumping in there.
Believe it or not, I did one 3 weeks ago.
Just playing with you. All right, so go ahead.
It was the weirdest thing. I felt like I was a kindergarten student sitting in a college class. That's a whole other issue.
Oh, did you? I'm surprised you didn't.
Another question to throw in there.
All right, hang on. You guys are all excited late in the game. Egan and Miller, wake up at 2:02, huh? All right, hold on. One guy first. Good thing you guys fell out of the hammock towards the end of the call. Okay. All right, number one, Dean, ask your question. What was it?
Why would you give the infographic as opposed to the actual magazine at the open house?
I have them both, and it's a fair question.
I know. I
have them both, and I think it's a matter of who do I have in front of me. If I have a full C personality type who really wants to know more, sure, take the full-blown magazine. But if I have the high D who might just want to kind of take a quick look at that as a business card, take that. I just want to be prepared for all types of people. I'm much more apt to, if I can break into a presentation, Dean, I'll tell you right now, I went to a listing presentation with my brother yesterday. We had both in there. I broke out the infographic and used that. I'm not going to sit there with a magazine and go through all that with you. That's for you. That's for you to remember how professional we are and for you to indulge yourself in a deeper dive understanding. It's a manifestation of the course that you can read. Okay?
Well, that's what I'm thinking is if you're having an in-depth conversation with somebody, then you give them the magazine on
Yep,
top of it.
you got it. Exactly right. Exactly.
Good enough.
Okay. Egan, go ahead. What do you got, bud? What do you got?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the interest of format, too, when you have an open house, are you just sitting there the whole time at the front door at your table is like the concierge, or if there's only one person in the house, are you kind of trailing behind and engaging in conversation and going through qualifying questions? Or
Yeah,
how do you handle it?
I'm very intuitive naturally, so I'm going to get a feeling from their body language how much they want me involved and how much they don't. So, in the beginning, people love Spanish guitar on hold, don't they? So Chris, it's intuitive. I mean, that's just there's no way to teach that. That's really intuitive. I want to be making them first feel very welcome and comfortable. So if you can imagine a concierge desk at a hotel, I'm certainly going to be there, let you know that I'm the authority by asking you to sign in and that there's information. Feel free to peruse the property and let me know if you have any questions. I think that's concierge 101. Now, if they're looking around, I might drift in. I might overhear a conversation that includes a question. I'll step in and say, oh, I heard you ask this, and here's the answer. So it's going to be more like I don't know how I would describe it, like a waltz. It's soft, but it's a little bit of a dance. I'm going to try to, figure out, it's the Goldilocks situation. Which bed is just right? Some people look lost and they need help, or they have questions. I'm going to go right at it. And there's other people that immediately are just obnoxious. I just walk back to the front and say, yeah, whatever. Good luck. Yeah, I have no interest in that. So I'm only looking for, my number one goal is to be a good steward for my seller. I'm there to perform for my seller. I'm there to market make for my seller. I need to find out if somebody is seriously interested in this property. And if there is, they're getting my full-blown attention. Beyond that, I'm going to engage in conversations where the property might need some active explanation, which they all do, right? I mean, they all need some active explanation beyond what can be seen, locationally, all that stuff we talked about in the voicemails. So it's a very intuitive thing, but my first job is to capture everybody's name for my seller and myself. And so I'm going to stay towards that front door and try to be there. If you're going to be in a smoking white hot open house, you might want to consider bringing somebody else to make sure they play maitre d' while you zero in on the hottest people that are going to buy the house, and especially if you're going to double end it, right?
Right. Hey, Danny, real quick.
Sure.
I got, for some reason, the call threw me off, so I had to come back on, so I missed part of what Egan was saying. But do you also, and so you might be repeating yourself, regarding what Dean's question was, the book versus the infographic, are you also basically, because the books cost, $6 or whatever, or for some of us even more if we don't have the hookup, are you gauging who you hand that nice glossy $6 or $8 book to based on whether or not you think they're just a neighbor or serious, and if they aren't? The infographic?
Yeah, to me, this is one of the reasons I don't spend gajillions of dollars on internet lead gen is because of all the wasted money when I'd much rather print more books and give them away. So that's just where we come from with our marketing, which is what I've implored everybody in this group to think about, is that, look, you want your core materials that represent you in the most weighty professional way, and I like physical stuff. So, in Seattle, if there's going to be a mad rush of people, am I going to hand them out like cookies? No, because it's like throwing money away. You're right. I mean, there's no need to do that. I think the infographics are a fabulous glorified business card, and I would give those away like candy if somebody wants them. But really all I'm giving away is the feature sheets, right? So if I've made brochures for the property or I've made feature sheets, that's what I'm saying. Sign in and the feature sheets are right there. The rest of the stuff is there, and you guys are all probably more creative than I am. Some of you have new stands and all this kind of stuff you're using. Awesome. It's a retail storefront. Do the best that you can to present that information as a giveaway, and they might look at it and they might take it, they might not. But you don't have to give them away like hotcakes.
Got it.
Cool?
It's funny how it's a good question when Paul gets it, but I get shit from you when I ask. But that's a whole other.
How it goes, buddy.
Yeah, it's just, well, you and Lee like to try to trip me up. It's like I'm skating along smoothly on a training call, and the next thing, one of you two like just throw something from the stand. See, both him, Washington fans, Yankee fans, you're all the same.
You're a hockey guy. What's better than the old school classic pick check right into the boards?
I love it. I still was.
I held back on you today, too.
You did. Well, you must have felt guilty from yesterday, huh? What's the matter with you, huh? Oh, I know why. Oh, I know. My wife's looking for you. That's why.
Yeah, man, she's running for the debt collector today.
She will find you no matter where you are. All right, listen, everybody.
I'll give her a part-time job.
That's it.
Hunt you down.
All right, that's right. All right, I love you guys. That was a good call. Some real good meat in there. In fact, from Paul, thanks for, when you all participate like that, it's very helpful. People that do the job, that was very helpful. And I think I want to walk away with summarizing this. Please do not forget to give these people what they want and being helpful in the tone, and keep it simple. Don't say too much, but be intriguing, saying, look, I thought you might want to refine your criteria and get some souls that were more insightful, so if you give me a call back, I could just do that with you, right? But use the word, I thought you might want, right? That's the key. All right? Good work. See everybody on the other side. Have a fabulous week and go out and try this stuff and bring me back some anecdotes, and we'll deal with them here. Good work. Take care.
Thanks, Danny.
Yep, you bet. You're welcome. Thank you all.